Elections in two of the five critical assembly states have now officially drawn to a close, with Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh also finishing voting today. This is a high stakes battle. Most polls, while giving a slight advantage to the Congress, are talking about a neck and neck fight in Madhya Pradesh, where Kamal Nath, seen here voting, is fighting the battle of his life. There is also much discussion as to why the BJP decided to effectively sideline Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Mamaji as he's colloquially known, who has not been declared a chief ministerial candidate. Can he pull off something in the last mile race? Can the Modi factor still be the overwhelming factor in these elections? And remember, there is still Rajasthan and Telangana left. Also, what about the role of the smaller parties? Akhilesh Yadav has already exposed the cracks and the rifts within the India alliance by declaring his unhappiness with the Congress party. And also, what is the national implication, if any, of the results of these five assembly elections? A lot to talk about. Let's welcome our newsmaker on the program today, Professor Sankay Kumar, leading psephologist, political pundit, and analyst with CSDS, is with us. Thank you very much, Sanjay ji. Always a pleasure. Let me start by asking you about the big picture. Something very interesting that is taking place in these elections is, despite the BJP's defeat in Karnataka, the BJP has clearly decided that it will not invest in its established second-rung leadership, i.e., whether it comes to a Shivraj Singh Chauhan or a Vasundhara Raje in Rajasthan, chief ministerial candidates or even the stature of making these leaders the face of the campaigns has not happened. How do you see the BJP approach to this campaign? Another experiment is their fielding of members of parliaments and union ministers in assembly elections. So the big picture first, Sanjay ji, with the BJP's approach.
See, my own sense is that BJP's approach has been correct if I go by BJP's strategy. And why do I say that? We have been doing surveys in these states over a period of time, and we have figured out that there are times when leaders pull vote for their party, when the leader's popularity is very high. If I look at Shivraj Singh Chauhan's popularity, he still remains popular, but there is a huge decline in his popularity compared to what it was in 2013. So even in 2018 election, if I go by my own data, I do not get a sense from the data because his popularity was slightly lower compared to the votes polled by the party, which is an indication that the leader is not able to pull votes for the party. That applied to Raman Singh in Chhattisgarh. That was the case even with Vasundhara Scindia in Rajasthan. Because in all the three states, when they were the chief minister 10 years ago, they were extremely popular. But there was a decline in the popularity to the extent that their popularity was much lower compared to party's vote share. I think this is an indication that people are voting for the party because they like the party, and these leaders are not able to pull votes for the party. So I think party went ahead.
Can I interrupt you there? Because the NDTV CSDS survey, which you led, you see the personal popularity of the CM candidates. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, according to your survey, still had a slight edge over Kamal Nath. Yet the BJP has decided not to officially or even de facto project him as the face. You say this is the correct approach. Given the findings of your survey, why do you argue that?
Yes, if you compare Kamal Nath with Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the data speaks for itself. Shivraj Singh Chauhan still remains more popular than Kamal Nath. But look at the vote estimate. If you the percentage of votes being polled by the BJP is much higher compared to Shivraj Singh Chauhan's popularity. And if I go by the 2018 Lok Assembly election, even in that BJP got 41% vote, and Shivraj Singh Chauhan's popularity was roughly 41%, a little slightly less than 41%. So there has been a decline. And remember, there was a time, 2013 Assembly election, when Shivraj Singh's popularity was at 48% and BJP was getting less vote than Shivraj Singh's popularity. So yes, Shivraj Singh Chauhan still remains the most popular leader of BJP. No doubt about that. A lot of people still believe that he should be the chief minister. But there is also a sense of some kind of a fatigue. I won't say there is a disenchantment against Shivraj Singh Chauhan. I won't say, because the data speaks for itself. It's not that Shivraj Singh Chauhan has become unpopular. He still remains popular. But there's some kind of a fatigue which has crept in. and some sense among sections of voters that we should try someone else. And I think, getting that sense, BJP decided not to project him as the chief ministerial candidate in Madhya Pradesh. And in order to deflect voters' attention, they fielded these 8 MPs. Some of them are sitting, some of them are ministers in the cabinet, so that voters don't know who is going to be the chief minister. So the attention is deflected. You don't know. So even
But
Congress, your
isn't it a double-edged sword? Because while Shivraj Singh Chauhan's popularity has declined, A, it still remains, according to your own findings, better than that of Kamal Nath personally, way ahead of Jyotiraditya Scindia. B, it's probably still more than the anti-incumbency that his MLAs are facing. So I guess my question is, given this fatigue, and what else could the BJP have done that you think it has not done in the Madhya Pradesh campaign?
No, if they had projected Shivraj Singh Chauhan as the chief ministerial candidate, I think some of the BJP supporters may not have. These are strategies, and you
Right.
get to know only the strategy succeeded or the strategy failed after you know the results. But I think the strategy was, even if there are supporters of BJP, but they may not vote for BJP because they seem to be having some kind of a fatigue with one face, which is Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So, in order to deflect that attention, BJP decided, let's not project any face. So there is a haziness. So if I am a BJP supporter, I will vote for BJP because I know there is an uncertainty. Anyone could be the chief minister. So if I had any hesitation, if I had any question in my mind whether I should vote for BJP or not, if Shivraj Singh Chauhan is going to be the next chief minister, so that possibility was minimized by BJP. Again, whether the strategy is right or wrong, correct or is, whether it is going to succeed or whether it is going to fail, that I can't say at this moment. But going by the data, as I said earlier, in my opinion, it was a good move or a good strategy by BJP.
Let's talk a little bit about the other two key players in Madhya Pradesh. Kamal Nath. Kamal Nath is almost running a campaign where he is more important than the Congress party. He's also running a visibly Hindu campaign. And the argument that he has made is that I've always been a Hanuman Bhakt. But obviously there is a political strategy in Mr. Kamal Nath's approach here. How do you see Kamal Nath's campaign, Sanjay?
If you look at what is happening on the ground, in my opinion, there is a very tight contest between BJP and Congress. Some others estimate that maybe Congress is ahead. This is an indication that Kamal Nath's strategy is working on the ground. Whether he is trying to project himself as more Hindu than BJP, or whether he's trying to send out a message that Congress is also kind of a Hindu party, whatever he's trying to do, whatever strategy he's trying to reach out to the voter, I think it is working on the ground. If it was not working on the ground, the sense which we are getting of what is happening in Madhya Pradesh is largely because Kamal Nath's strategy seems to be succeeding, and we know that Kamal Nath himself has taken the lead in this campaign. The national leaders are on the ground, but not to the extent as we would see national leaders campaigning in other states.
So isn't that interesting that in a way the BJP is relying on central leaders, whether it's the prime minister, whether it's union ministers, whether it's members of parliament, and the Congress is trying to localize. The Congress is trying to localize the election.
No, absolutely. And I think why Congress is trying to localize the election. Two factors. One, again, citing the same data, if I look at the popularity of Rahul Gandhi and the votes polled by Congress in the last Lok Sabha elections, 2019, 2014, and also in various state assembly elections, Rahul Gandhi is not a vote puller for the Congress. Congress has always got more votes compared to percentage of people who want to see Rahul Gandhi as the next prime minister. So this is an indication, and there are other indicators as well, which indicate that Rahul Gandhi is not a crowd puller for the party. He's not adding votes for the party. Also, look at what happened, how the party led the campaign in Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka. And these are the two states where Congress has won the election. They have a government in these states. I think Congress learned by these two experiments and they decided to go in these elections with a prominent regional face, prominent state leader, rather than going along with the national faces to campaign aggressively. I'm not saying that national leaders are not campaigning. So I think the strategy of Congress is also working on the ground, and that is why Congress is in a serious fight, whether we are talking about Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, or even in Telangana.
Yeah, I'll get to those states one by one, but on Madhya Pradesh, I want to talk a little bit about Jyotiraditya Scindia. Now, Mr. Scindia, of course, delivered effectively the state after the elections in 2018 by breaking away from the Congress and joining the BJP. Priyanka Gandhi has now been targeting him for what she calls his Gaddari. What is at stake for Jyotiraditya Scindia? Because in his own belt of Gwalior Chambal, Professor Sankay Kumar, polls at least don't suggest a very strong performance. They suggest a certain amount of ideological confusion among the cadres on the ground. Now, I want to play out for you just a small statement of Jyotiraditya Scindia, and then I want you to explain to us what's at stake for Jyotiraditya Scindia. Here's Mr. Scindia saying today that he is not in the chief minister's race, and he never was and will not be in the foreseeable future. Listen in.
मैंने पहले से ही कहा है, मैं सीएम के रेस में नहीं हूँ, ना मैं कभी था ना आज हूँ। आप लोगों ने बार बार मुझे पूछा है, 2013 में भी, 18 में भी और आज भी पूछ रहे हैं। तीनों बार मैंने कहा है कि मैं सीएम के रेस में नहीं हूँ। ये रेस कुर्सी का नहीं है, ये रेस विकास का है, ये रेस प्रगति का है, और ये रेस जनता का विश्वास सुनिश्चित रखने का है। कुर्सी का रेस कांग्रेस की है।
So, of course, Mr. Scindia saying I'm not in the chief minister's race, and all your surveys and other surveys also reflect that nobody is looking at him as a potential CM candidate. But there's a prestige battle on for him. If, for example, the BJP does not do well in Chambal Gwalior, his own belt, and Digvijay Singh is now taunting the BJP with this line: "Ki there are three BJPs in Madhya Pradesh: the Shivraj BJP, the Maharaj BJP, and the Naraz BJP." This is what Digvijay Singh is saying on the ground. How do you see the Scindia factor playing out, Professor Kumar?
You have already mentioned that some of the polls are suggesting that BJP is not doing very well in the Chambal Gwalior region, and if BJP does not perform well in this region, I think there will be criticism of there will be criticism about Jyotiraditya Scindia. So I think stakes are high for him. Even if BJP does well or not does well in the entire state. But for Jyotiraditya Scindia, it is important that the party does well in the Chambal Gwalior region, because if party does well in this region, at least he will have to show something to the party leader. And I think the statement which he's giving to the press, I was not in the chief ministerial race and I'm not in the chief ministerial race, I think he's trying to send out a message to the top bosses of the party and just trying to what we call Suraksha Kavach for himself. If the party doesn't do well in this region, because I was not projected as the chief minister, I was not in the chief ministerial race. So that is why my core supporters also didn't vote for me in such a big way as they should have voted, because they did not see a future in voting for BJP because they wanted me to play an active role. I was not given a role. I'm not saying that he's saying that, but maybe this is an argument which is building within himself, so that if there is any discussion about that, if BJP doesn't do well in this region, maybe he's trying to send out a message well in advance, because there are indications that BJP may not do very well in this region, which is the bastion of Jyotiraditya Scindia.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about something you have been highlighting in all of your analysis, even in a recent article you wrote for Money Control, where you talk about the role of smaller parties. Now, in a way, these states, except for Telangana, and we'll come to that in the end, the other states as being seen as these bipolar sort of collisions between the BJP and the Congress. But you are making the point that if you go by the 2018 data, what happens with Samajwadi Party and the BSP can be critical, especially in a tough fight. So I want you to, as we bring up slides of Madhya Pradesh, Akhilesh Yadav has not been happy in this campaign. He has been calling the Congress chalu. He has been taking jibes at the Congress over caste census politics. Now, I think one of the things that you have analyzed, Professor Kumar, and I was going through your data, is to look at how many seats these small parties took vote shares in that were higher than the winning margin. So let's start with the Samajwadi Party in Madhya Pradesh from 2018.
Yes, there are 11 seats where the vote share of Samajwadi Party was higher compared to the victory margin. And if you look at these 11 seats, BJP had won 8 seats, Congress had won 2, and 1 seat was won by an independent candidate. So if you look at this trend, there is a clear indication that Samajwadi Party contesting on its own, not having an alliance with the Congress, has hurt the Congress because most of these marginal seats have been won by BJP. So I just I tried to analyze this data, trying to send it, not sending out a message, but just trying to let the viewers know, let the readers know that while the entire discussion is about BJP and Congress, the two main political party, rightly so, because the contest for the power is between these two parties. But one should not forget that these regional parties can also upset the calculation of some of these big parties. And the data, and there is an evidence to that.
Yes, I want you to talk about that because the BSP vote share, I think you've analyzed, was more than the winning margin in 56 seats in 2018. And if we just go back to the Samajwadi Party slide, as you said, 11 seats for the SP. In both of these situations, फायदा हुआ बीजेपी को. Basically, am I right in concluding that in both of these seats,
No, for the BSP, if you look at the division of these 56 seats, so I think 28 has been won by BJP and 27 won by Congress. So we don't see a direct correlation between which party benefited by BSP contesting in all the seats. But I do get an indication that if Madhya Pradesh is turning out to a close election this time, the presence of BSP might hurt the Congress more than the BJP because there is an indication of Dalit votes shifting in favor of Congress party. And if BSP is contesting in a serious manner, BSP's core supporters are the Dalit. So if Dalit vote gets shifted from Congress to the BSP, whether it is in few thousand, that can hurt the Congress in large number of constituencies. While at the moment we can speculate, at the moment I can anticipate that this might happen. We would get to know only on the 3rd of December. But there is a chance that Congress might, if Congress loses this election, or if there is a tight election, it would be because Congress not being able to form an alliance with BSP or with SP. If Congress had formed an alliance with SP or BSP, they would have been a much better position now compared to what it looks like on the ground on the day of voting.
Yes. And to that extent, what are the early signs about the India alliances manifested in these assembly elections?
See, if we go by the official statement, then we are told that there is no India alliance for the round of assembly election. So very difficult to do any analysis about that. But because, as you can see, Samajwadi Party and Congress, if the alliance should have been working on the ground, they should have at least done some sheet sharing arrangement. This should have been the case in, say, Rajasthan also, Chhattisgarh also. BSP is not part of India alliance, so BSP, we can expect BSP to be contesting in large number of constituencies. But this India alliance is not an entity in this round of assembly election. We have already been told, or it has already been announced, that India alliance has been formed only for 2024 election, not for the state assembly election.
Now, I want to briefly talk about Chhattisgarh, where despite the fact that the chief minister finds himself mired in a corruption allegation, I think almost everybody agrees that there is no great anti-incumbency that Mr. Baghel is actually battling. What explains the success of the Congress campaign in Chhattisgarh? Is it again keeping it local, strictly local?
No, absolutely. One factor you have already mentioned, Congress kept the campaign strictly local. But we should not forget that last assembly election, Congress had not only one election, they had won big. In a sense, the vote share difference between BJP and Congress was 9%. So Congress not only won the election in 2018, but they established a massive presence in the state. And we should not forget that BJP has not done enough during last 5 years to make a comeback in the state. Raman Singh has been almost absent from the state politics. BJP has not projected anyone else to lead the party in the state. So BJP has not done enough to make a comeback. And the positive thing about Congress is that Bhupesh Baghel has run a decent government. There is no sign of like unhappiness among general people. There would be people who would be critical of the government, but generally there is an endorsement for the work done by Bhupesh Baghel government. BJP has been lacking in putting up a strong fight, but the Mahadev app scandal or the allegation, I think this has put the Congress in a slightly difficult position in the last leg of campaign, and maybe Congress may not register such a massive victory as they managed to do in 2018. But victory is, after all, a victory, and this is what is being anticipated by large number of people, that Congress has a very strong chance of winning elections in Chhattisgarh.
You're actually saying that in Chhattisgarh, and if we can switch to the images of Chhattisgarh now, you're actually saying that there could be an impact of this app allegation on the margin of victory for Bhupesh Baghel.
Yes, I'm saying that it did make an impact on the voters' mind in the last leg of campaign. So while it would be very difficult to monitor if there was no allegation, what would have been the victory margin of Congress, but if we do a proper probing or analysis of the survey data, which we are doing at the moment, we would get a sense of to what extent this allegation has hurt the Congress. But my own sense is that it is certainly going to hurt the Congress to some extent, not to the extent of Congress losing election. Congress still is in a very, comfortable situation in Chhattisgarh.
Okay, let's move to Rajasthan. And as we move to Rajasthan, let's talk a little bit about the Modi factor. Once again, Professor Kumar, it bears reminding that all of these states, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, were won electorally by the Congress in 2018 and then swept by the BJP in the Lok Sabha, right? Now, Rajasthan is a very curious case because there too, Vasundhara Raje Scindia has not been projected as the face of the campaign, and there is a heavy dependence on the Modi factor. But if you look at Rajasthan's history of rotating doors, how is that going to play out?
If I recollect some of the findings from the surveys which we had conducted, I think one reason why BJP has projected Narendra Modi as the face of the party in all the three states. Because if I look at the findings, there's a clear indication that even though like Bhupesh Baghel government is popular in Chhattisgarh, even though Ashok Gehlot government remains popular in Rajasthan, but the endorsement for Narendra Modi government at the center is much more compared to the endorsement for functioning of the state government. So people are still looking at the two things. One, performance of the state government. They doesn't seem to be unhappy. They endorse the work done by Gehlot government in Rajasthan, also Bhupesh Baghel government in Chhattisgarh. But if I compare with how people look at the functioning of the Narendra Modi government at the center, they find there is a much bigger endorsement for the central government work. So that is why I think the dependence of BJP on Narendra Modi's face on the central government performance has been high on this round of assembly election. And I think this was the only way BJP would have been possible for BJP to put up a strong fight, which they have been able to do in some of these states.
What do you see going down in Rajasthan? You see one common pattern that is emerging between Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan is to maybe phase out, a kind of older BJP leadership, whether it's Scindia or Chauhan in both of these states. But the problem is they haven't replaced these leaders yet with a new generation of leaders, right? So, yeah, go ahead.
No, absolutely. You can see a clear strategy. The central leadership of BJP doesn't want to depend upon the state leadership for a very long time. Or in fact, I could say it could be put differently. they don't want the state leadership to become very, very powerful or very, very important to the extent of that party starts depending upon that leader. So that is the strategy. And if you look at Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been the chief minister for 18 years. I think in Congress, it would not have been possible for the central leadership to take such a decision that you don't project someone who is the successful chief minister for 18 years as the next chief minister. But BJP has been able to do that. BJP did that in Assam some time back when they did project Sarbanand Sonowal as the chief minister. They have done it in Madhya Pradesh and they have done it in Rajasthan. So this is a strategy. Don't allow leaders to become taller than the party. Give them a sense that their dependence is more on the party rather than party being dependent on the leader. Yes,
it's a very कांग्रेस it's a very एक जमाने में कांग्रेस की strategy होती थी. It's a very Congress type way of thinking.
no, absolutely, it's a Congress way of thinking. Keep
Yes.
the leadership centralized at the central level. Most of the
Yes.
decisions, we all know that how the decisions are being taken in the BJP. Most of the decisions are being taken centrally. Even who is going to contest election in the Lok Sabha, in the assembly election, I think the central leadership plays a much bigger role compared to the state leadership. So slowly and gradually, the leadership in BJP has got far more centralized. And if you look at the Congress is going on the other route, which is to say the leadership in Congress is getting decentralized, and they have taken lessons from the recent victories in Karnataka and Himachal Pradesh.
Is the BJP taking a risk with this over dependence on the Modi factor? And in Karnataka, for example, I'm not saying projecting Yediyurappa would have changed the result, but it's very interesting that Mr. Yediyurappa's son, a first-time MLA, has now been made the BJP state chief in Karnataka. So the BJP is learning from that lesson in Karnataka. Do you believe, in your personal opinion, that it is taking a big risk with the dependence on, Modi factor and keeping things central?
My own sense is that at the moment, I don't think BJP is taking a big risk because Prime Minister Narendra Modi still remains very, very popular. People depend upon Prime Minister Narendra Modi, or people have huge faith in Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But I think the answer to this question we would get to know only after the result. If BJP does well in most of these states, then we would be talking on that day that yes, this is a strategy which has succeeded, which has given reward to the BJP. And if BJP doesn't do well, then we would be bound to conclude BJP strategy backfired. BJP should have projected state leadership. Their dependence on, or the enormous dependence on national leadership has hurt the BJP.
Let's move to the south, which remains, especially after the Karnataka defeat for the BJP, a kind of fortress against the BJP. The BJP has been trying very hard to break into the south. Telangana was a key project for the BJP. It held its national executive there. It's invested a lot of energy and time there. But somehow in Telangana, there has been a kind of resurgence for the Congress, which has even perhaps gone beyond the Congress's own expectations. And as we speak, of course, the Congress manifesto has also been unveiled. But go ahead, Professor Kumar.
No, absolutely. You did mention the right thing, that there is a huge resurgence for Congress. And if you talk to the Congress leader, maybe 6 months ago, they didn't expect such a huge resurgence for the Congress. Some people are even talking in terms of Congress winning elections in Telangana, but it is very clear that the third player, which is going to be the BJP, will be a poor third. It is going to be a distant third. There was a time when everybody thought that BJP is emerging very strongly in Telangana, but there is a reason to that. If you look at the last assembly election and the Lok Sabha election, in assembly election, BJP did not perform very well, but in the Lok Sabha election, the BJP's vote share went up, and that created an illusion, I believe, that BJP is emerging very strong in Telangana. But we should not forget that for the BJP, the vote share in the assembly election and the Lok Sabha election are very different. It applies for other parties as well. If we talk about Aam Aadmi Party's performance in Delhi in 2014 Lok Sabha elections and 2015 assembly election, for the same party in 2019 Lok Sabha elections and 2020 assembly elections, people had voted differently for these two parties. So I think there was an overestimation by the BJP leader and maybe by some analysts that BJP is on a huge resurgence in Telangana just by looking at the vote share of BJP in the Lok Sabha elections, 2019 Lok Sabha election. This is a contest for the state assembly election. And an average Indian voter don't want to waste their vote. When they see BJP not in the contest, so some of those people, some of those voters who may have wanted to vote for the BJP, they may have also shifted their vote to the Congress because they didn't want to waste their vote. And maybe they don't want to vote for the BRS, the ruling party, because of their happiness with the ruling party for several other reasons. That is why it is emerging as a very tight, close election between BRS and Congress in Telangana.
Can we talk a little bit about what might happen in a post-poll scenario in Telangana? Now, the BRS, KCR's party, which used to be the Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, developed national ambitions. It has not joined the India Alliance. The Congress has released these sort of memes and actually real-life kind of cutouts all over Telangana, suggesting that there is a kind of relationship between, let's say, a leader like Asaduddin Owaisi. There you see Asaduddin Owaisi and KCR, and the Prime Minister is the puppeteer. You know, you see these kind of cutouts all over cities like Hyderabad. The insinuation here is that KCR and Asaduddin Owaisi, while currently being critics of the BJP, if push came to shove, could join hands with the BJP to keep the Congress out, agar aisi naubat aati hai in the numbers. How do you see this allegation?
There may be something जो हिंदी में कहते हैं कि जब धुआं तभी निकलता है जब थोड़ी उसमें आग होती है तो we are talking about these allegations. There may be something going on at the ground, but I think there is a tough contest for the Muslim vote now because BJP is not in the race, and if Congress needs to perform well, if there is a chance for Congress performing well, they need to pull some Muslim vote away from Asaduddin Owaisi's party. And that is why they are just trying to send out a message that there is no difference between, the BRS and AIMIM, both are friends, and then BJP is also kind of in a tacit understanding. So I think the contest or the Congress is trying hard to pull the Muslim vote, which is roughly about 13 or 14% of the state's population. And that's going to be crucial for the Congress performing well in Telangana. So I think this is what Congress is trying to do while in sending out the message to the voters of Telangana.
What explains the resurgence of the Congress, according to you, in Telangana? Earlier, you said that Rahul Gandhi is not really a vote puller for the Congress, at least in the heartland states. In Telangana, do you believe the Bharat Jodo Yatra has had an impact for the Congress, or do you believe there are other factors?
See, Bharat Jodo Yatra had an impact on personal popularity of Rahul Gandhi, his personal legitimacy within the party as a leader who can, work hard. But when it comes to whether these things are going to pull votes for the party, I don't see a direct relationship that people started liking Rahul Gandhi, and because they now see some leadership quality in him, they also start voting for the Congress. I don't see that direct relationship. But the reason why we see resurgence of the Congress in Telangana, two main reasons. One, there is some anti-incumbency against the government which has been ruling the state for the last 10 years. And if these voters don't see any other party in a serious contest, and I'm referring to BJP, so most of these votes are coming in the Congress fold. As I said earlier, that even those voters who didn't want to vote for Congress in a if there was a three-way contest and they would have not voted for the Congress, they may have voted for some other party. But now when they see it is only the Congress who is in a contest, and only Congress can defeat the BRS. So Congress by default is getting those votes of those voters who may not have voted for the Congress earlier, but now they decided to vote for Congress because they want to defeat the BRS.
That was my question. That therefore, what you're saying is the BJP has failed in Telangana to offer itself up as an alternative to the BRS.
Barkha, absolutely. I think if you look at how elections are taking place these days for the last 5-10 years, perception becomes a very important issue in election. Perception plays a very important role. So the perception got created. It also applies to the development. Whether you actually engage in, whether you have been able to do something concrete on the ground or not. But if the perception has been created that this government has done wonders for the people go along with that perception. So the perception got created in Telangana that BJP is out of the race, and this perception got created well in advance, maybe 6 months ago. That there is, and we also know some of the BJP leaders, left the party, moved towards Congress and towards other parties. So the perception got created well in advance that if there is a party which can challenge the BRS in Telangana, it is the Congress. So those voters who were not Congress supporters also intend to vote for the Congress, because the perception is that there is a direct contest between Congress and BRS. So perception has also played an important role, and perception has been created because BJP has not been able to put their house in order.
Yes. Let's end with Mizoram. In Mizoram, you have definitely seen the impact of the Manipur crisis on the state. You had a moment, where the chief minister of Mizoram did not want to share a stage with the BJP. Mizoram has opened its doors to many refugees from Myanmar. It feels strongly about what's happening with the Kuki community in Manipur, where the Kuki and Meitei community have been at literally at loggerheads. What do you see happening in Mizoram?
Barkha, very difficult to say because Mizoram is a small state. Small, I'm not saying it is difficult to say because it is a small state, but there are constituencies which are very small in size. Victory and defeat are decided by very small margin. But my own sense is that the government, the ruling party, the MNF is not doing very badly in the state. My own sense is that they are still in a very serious contest. They are facing some challenge from the Congress and the other regional party. Maybe the state may end up having a hung assembly with MNF leading the race. So a little bit of uncertainty because there is unhappiness from about the BJP and BJP is in alliance with MNF, though BJP is not contesting in large number of seats. So a little tentative. What is happening in Mizoram? Maybe my own sense is that a very hung assembly or a party MNF getting a very thin majority. It's only we should not forget the majority mark is 21 seats. It's a 40 assembly seat.
I want to end with the impact of what happens here on national elections. Now, once again, because people's memory is short. In 2018, the opposition Congress took the three states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh and got decimated by the BJP in the Lok Sabha elections, which were just a few months away. Do you see that kind of separation of the voter mindset this time, or do you believe that something is somewhat different this time?
I would say more or less the same temperament of the voter, even if they vote in a big way for the Congress in these round of assembly election, their voting preference will not get shaped for 2020 in the 2024 election, going by how Congress performs in this round of assembly election. I think voters have a very clear idea in their mind that 2024 election is for the national election, is a national election. They are going to elect the prime minister. They are going to they are going to vote for the national government. So the voting preference will remain different as we have seen in 2018 and 2019. May not be as sharp as we witnessed in 2018 and 19. Congress may be able to win some seats in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh compared to what was their performance in 2019. But more or less, the scenario is going to be like that. We should also not forget that in most of these states, BJP not only won 25 seats in Rajasthan, all the 25 seats in Rajasthan, but remember, out of these 25 seats, in 22 seats, BJP had polled more than 50% votes. Same was the case in 6-7 assembly constituencies in Chhattisgarh, and same was the case in 25 Lok Sabha seats in Madhya Pradesh. So the point I'm trying to say is that uh, if a party polls more than 50% votes, how do you defeat that party in an election when a party has got more than 50% vote? And the number two party, the Congress, is not with, like within the striking range of 48 or 47% vote. There is a huge difference between the BJP and the Congress in large number of these parliamentary seats. Even if BJP's vote share decline by 4, 5, 6%, if people become very unhappy because of rising prices, unemployment, but that will not help the Congress in pulling large number of seats away from BJP to their fold in 2024 Lok Sabha election.
Well, it is fascinating, and that could be one of the reasons that the BJP is so keen on this one nation, one poll idea, because the separation that voters make between local and national is very, very important. And at the moment, you're saying that there's no matter what happens in these assembly polls, the Lok Sabha pattern will be different, and the BJP has a buffer, even if it declines. Yeah. Thank you, Professor Kumar. You took us very patiently through all the 5 states. Thank you very much. And we'll, of course, be in touch as the numbers come in and we look at more states. Thank you very much and take care.
Thank you, Barkha.
Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.